This is interview number 6 with Russ Camerer, the designer and builder of Kettlewell Resonant Covers. Russ, could you speak a little bit about what you have already created in the way of height of the resonant chamber? And by this I mean how high it is if you measure it at the back end of the harp where the sound comes out. What have you created so far, and where are you going to go from here?
Gotcha. The first set that we created were for the SCX 16 Suzuki Harmonica, particularly because of its high playability. It's a nicely affordable harp. It's a well-made instrument, and it's a popular instrument. And so we thought if we're going to start with an instrument, that would be the starting place. And so we took on spreading across 4 sets of octaves to begin with in a 16-holer. So we took on a larger harmonica to begin with. And what we found was naturally holding your hand out like you're holding a taco almost. The round surface above your hand is a natural feel. Instead of trying to hold your hands flat across the top, an arch was created. So we wanted to create a nice arch at the top of this thing, particularly something that felt comfortable. Some of the older covers on some of the harmonicas have rather angular, sharp edges, and after handling them for a while, they can be a little, they can bite you a little bit. In other words, in your own words, can bite you a little bit. And so we were looking at trying to create a height that wasn't too darn big so that you can still get some hand movement over the end of the cover, be able to cup it in or accompany a microphone with these things. And the first set ended up being about 7/8 high on the inside, which is about twice the height of a normal cover for a Suzuki, or maybe even a little more. And that's counting the area that's not crimped. It's there's a big ledge hanging down over the edge of the stock cover. So we've increased that output area in hopes that that would be good proof of theory. Now, much to everyone's surprise, the PLA plastic material turned out to be a wonderful resonant material for covers and responded much, much better than anyone anticipated. It was thought an initial step through plastics into metal covers was going to be the path. But after dealing with the cost to produce metal ones and the properties of the PLA acting as a resonant chamber itself, we're quite pleased with the results so far. So we will, at this point, continue with the current material we're working with, different colors to be sure, and we've adjusted the next cover down ever so slightly, maybe about 1/8 of an inch when we moved into the 12-hole harmonicas, where you have 3 sets of octaves rather than 4. And so you have 3 chambers you're working with. And so the overall arch and height of the cover is not as exaggerated as the 16 is. And finding the 16 to be very comfortable to hold on to, where the cover extends outside the comb, actually gives you a place to rest your fingers along in there and creates a pretty good spot to work with for effect, to work with vibrato by hand, being able to cover the slots down on the end. And you don't want to get too darn big where you have any kind of issues covering the end, but you do want a nice, comfortable feeling harp that responds really super well. And I think that's where we're at now. We're going to pursue the Seidel Symphony next, another 16, and we'll have covered quite a range of harps through the Suzuki models and into the Seidels, 12s and 16 holes. So we've got a pretty good range of product covered now for different musical instruments.
We're going to do sound tests now. Let's begin with Seidel Saxony with Bulletini mic, wireless. And now we'll play the Gregor Mare.